So hello, my name is Matt Dorgan. I'm the president and founder of Building Bridges for Brianna, suicide awareness and prevention organization here in New York. Our main goal is really to kind of break that stigma around mental health and get people openly talking about mental health on a daily basis so we can let people know it's okay to not be okay. We just can't stay that way. So we're doing a series of videos just to openly talk and have candid conversations with people that have associated with mental health in some way of their life. So we have Lisa here today with us, who has a little bit of mental health history in her family, right?
Yep.
And she just wants to kind of talk about how she uses some of our support groups, how Building Bridges for Brianna, really helped her and affected her and her family. So Lisa, if you just want to give us a little bit of bio and a little bit of history behind you, I would appreciate it.
Hello, I'm Lisa, and my family has several mental health issues. My daughter mainly struggles and continues to struggle. I got involved. I knew Matt from high school, and I knew his daughter had passed away, and he founded Building Bridges for Brianna. And I reached out to him when my daughter was suicidal the first time for help with resources and where can I go as a parent to help her. What do I do from here? And he helped me really with the hospitalizations, resources as a parent, resources for my child, how to work with the school. And he's been there every time I've needed his help.
I appreciate it. So how is everything going with your daughter?
She's doing great right now.
She's doing good now?
Yeah.
I know we talked recently, last Saturday,
Yeah.
maybe 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I know she said she was doing good. She actually looked good.
Yes.
Which is a
smile's
long
back.
way to go. Yes, I was going to say she was actually smiling
Yeah.
and joking around. But as a parent, how were you doing, during that time, that she was struggling?
I'd say as a parent, that's probably like the lowest time of my life that I had as a parent. You don't know who to turn to, even who to trust. I am in healthcare, but honestly, unless you're there as a parent and going through that, you have no idea. And mental health is not, and still continues not to be, my specialty.
Right.
So I didn't even know the local hospitals because we had moved back to the area. And I didn't even know, unfortunately, my resources, even though I work in the business.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that was one of the things I was struggling with, is finding those resources, knowing what's out there. You got the psychiatrist, you got the therapist. It's kind of whoever crisis intervention can kind of get you in and kind of get you referred to because, beds are hard to get. It's something that they're doing the best they can. It's just there's not a lot of resources out there for beds.
Right.
And then when you finally get in there, but are you doing the right things? Are you making the right decisions? Are you taking your kid to the right place? How did you navigate through all that?
Well, with your help, of course. And she regularly sees a psychiatrist, a psychotherapist. School was involved, really. But the thing, like you're speaking to, and also that I can tell you is that the interconnectivity just is not there for people. Like the psychotherapist doesn't talk to the psychiatrist necessarily, and like it's a full-time job on top of a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know, when Brianna was dealing with hers, it was a full-time job. Luckily, I was working from home.
Right.
So it made life a lot easier. I know you were working at home for a little while.
I still do for now.
You still do?
Mm-hmm.
Were you working at the office at all during that? Like at the beginning?
Yeah, at the beginning I was at the office. Mm-hmm.
Which one do you find, obviously that had to be a challenge, going to work and kind of worried what's going on.
So luckily we got sent to work from home. But when she was in certain facilities, I was actually closer to the former office. So I could bridge my time off of work by actually working from the office while she was in like outpatient daytime treatment.
Right.
So that worked well for me. It works well for me to still work from home and have the option to go into the office, because then if she's having a bad day at school and she can't handle it, I can just leave and
You're
come back.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's really what the kids need. They need the parents to kind of support.
Right.
You know, I know it's frustrating. You know, I know there's times I was losing my cool at times, you know, going in my bedroom and just kind of like, what am I doing? This is every day, it's the same thing, but it's your kids. You're going to do whatever you can, you know, to support them. How do you feel like the community is responding to mental health?
I think pre-COVID, it wasn't out there as much, but I have, with COVID as a nurse, mental health got worse. It still continues to get worse. Right now, we're in the change of seasons, and I have a lot more calls coming in about mental health again. And unfortunately, those resources are very limited, because I'm sure you're familiar that there's wait lists upon wait lists.
Absolutely.
And there is a severe need for mental health, you know, facilities, therapists, psychiatrists all over the U.S. right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There definitely needs to be more.
Yes.
You know, I think every organization that we partner with, they're all shorthanded, you know, on therapists. And of course, that's what's causing the wait list. I mean, I can't really blame any of the organizations, because they're doing the best that they absolutely can, you know, with the resources, you know, they got. But do you feel like people are like open to talk about it more?
Yeah, I do feel like after COVID hit, they're more willing to talk about it. And I think there was more education during COVID when everybody was in lockdown, that reach out, you know, about mental health, but also, you know, reach out to your doctor if you think you have symptoms. And, you know, like I think a lot more people reaching out, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know you follow a lot of the stuff, you know, Building Bridges for Brianna does, and in the community, and, you know, even outside the community, social media, whatever. How do you think the community is responding to some of the stuff that we're doing to try to help out? You know, do you feel it's making a difference, making an impact?
I know, for example, you just had, what weekend was it? No,
It was 2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago.
The fun day in the park.
Yeah, it's a
Yep.
fun day in the park. And I learned something new that day. So every event you have, as a professional and a parent, I go around and I gather information, and I learned something new, and now that's hanging on my fridge, and a resource I didn't know was there. So to me as a parent, to me as a professional, like, I can add that into my portfolio for people to, hey, here's a number. Like, I know this as a parent, and parent to parent, like, you know, you might want to reach out.
Absolutely. And I know you've been, you know, in our support group, you know, for families. So, you know, we run a support group just for families. So if they have a family member that's dealing with mental health, the parents, the grandparents, the brothers, sisters, whatever, they want to know, are they doing the right thing? Are they interacting, you know, with the family member the correct way? Like what to say, what not to say, what other resources are out there. So I know you've attended several sessions, you know, when we first launched it. What did you think about the support groups, and did it impact you in any way?
Yeah, because I think I'm a single parent. I know you were a single parent, and I just felt like I had nobody that could understand this, and to just talk about it actually was just a relief, like
Right.
to have your number. And the former, you know, person that helped me's number, just because I have no one, and I don't think my parents got it. I don't think other family members got it, you know,
Right.
like it's time intensive. It is just overwhelming when you're in it. It's
Exactly. And
oh,
sometimes you feel alone.
right. So alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to one of the lowest points in my own life. You know, I wasn't suicidal because I knew like she already was, but um, the isolation you feel when your child is struggling to that degree, and just the worry, like the worry when you find that your kid wants to do this and that your child has cut and you thought you've locked up everything. And there was an instance, like while she was in treatment, when I had every single thing I thought locked up. And she found a razor and took it to her hands because she needed to self harm.
Yep.
And it's
I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
I have done everything and it's not working.
Right.
And now we are about, what, a year and a half out from the first time. And this is the first time, like, I've regularly seen a smile on her face, like, the last 2 months. And it's.
She looked like she was having a great time.
Yeah.
On Saturday at the fun day in the park.
Yeah.
You know.
But as a parent, just 6 weeks ago, we weren't there. Like,
Yeah.
we were still suicidal thoughts, and I don't know what changed in those 6 weeks, but she's smiling again.
Whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
you're doing it right.
And she's, you know, for the first time in a couple years, wanting to reach out to go into sports, and that's a huge step for her. Yeah.
I remember you texting me and telling me about her actually wanting to do sports again.
Right.
I thought that was
amazing.
Great. Yeah. Because before she didn't want to do anything. She didn't want to hang out with friends.
She actually stopped doing the only sport she was doing because she didn't think she could handle it mental health wise.
Right.
So for her to actually want to join a team, because the sport she was in was horseback riding and she was doing like solitary. So for her to want to be part of a team is pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything you would like to say to any other parents that have children dealing with mental health, you know, that may give them a little bit of support?
It's seriously isolating. You will feel at your lowest. I felt, and just can't describe the amount of guilt I felt, the amount of shame I felt that I had let my child down to that degree. You feel like it is your fault, but as a healthcare professional, I can assure you it's not your fault. This is something in your child's brain, or even in your own brain, or your family's brain. There is a chemical imbalance. There are medications, there are therapy, there are hospitalizations, and I was 100% struggling with putting my daughter into a daytime or an inpatient treatment. I can say that was the definite thing that she needed, and it's never been lower as far as, you know, when you have to put your child into treatment. But that was the thing that turned the corner for her. And now I actually, a year and a half later, can say that I have reached a point where she's smiling, she's productive, her grades are improving, and more specifically, I do not have to give her all 100% of my energy, that I have energy for my other 2 children, and that's what everybody deserves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you kind of being open about everything and talking about your daughter and your history dealing that year and a half, because the year and a half can probably seem like it's been 5 years, because it goes real slow.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing it, but you know, we're all doing what we need to do to protect our family.
Yeah.
You know, our kids come first. We're going to do that, but we also, at the same time, need to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need some decompression time. You know, and that's one thing, looking back over the 3.5 years with Brianna, I really don't think I did enough of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I was getting to my wit's end towards the end, just because it was so draining.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and that's where I think our support group kind of comes in. it's other parents talking. Like I've even talked to a couple other ones that they've made connections and they go have coffee every once in a while, just to kind of talk and have that support group. And,
Yeah.
so I think, that support group really helps. And that's something that I think that if I had available, I would have jumped on it too, dealing with Brianna. So I think that's kind of crucial for our success and our support group. So,
Yeah.
I appreciate you, coming on, talking about everything about mental health, because that's one thing we need to openly talk about, break the stigma.
Absolutely.
You've heard me 101 times say it's okay not to be okay. We just can't stay that way, and that's what we need to do to move those people in from when they're not okay. To let them know it's okay to feel that way. Just how do we change it so we don't have that suicidal thoughts and self-harm and stuff like that. So, well, I really appreciate everybody kind of watching and jumping on our channel, just talking about mental health. That's one thing we need to do is openly talk about it, so everybody in the community knows they have a job, and their job is just to listen. Our job is to listen to other people talking. If people want to open up, all we can do is listen. So, as Brianna would always say, keep fighting. I believe in you. You are a star. That's one thing we need to get out to the entire community. We have several events coming up. We have one at the end of October 30th at John Wright Restaurant that has over 130 vendors that are going to be there. Some food trucks, some music, some raffles, just really to support. All the proceeds are going back to Building Bridges for Brianna, just so we can do more programs in the community. Then our large event, which Lisa, you've been to, both years. It's our third annual year for it. It's going to be on June 24th at Dallestown Lions Park. We average between 1,500 to 2,000 people each year, and we just openly talk about mental health. You can't go anywhere. We have nonprofits there, vendors there, raffles, live entertainment. So it's a good day just to be out in the park talking about mental health, and help us, grow to save somebody else's life. So I really appreciate you following, and we will talk to you soon. If anybody would like to actually be on a video on our channel, please send an email to info@bb4BPA.org, and we will connect with you and get you scheduled to come on to talk about mental health. Thank you.